Okay, this is gonna be a shorter video than most videos, so I'm gonna keep it very brief. The Angels are very mediocre, and it's starting to really piss me off. So where do I begin with this? So they're sitting at fourth place in the AL West, which I'll give them some slack. It's it's pretty tough. You have the A's, you got the Astros. Okay, that's cool, but you got the Mariners, and you got the Rangers, who are arguably one of the worst teams in the league. You know what I mean? It's top heavy, but it's also very bad in the bottom, right? So, where do we start here? Well, first of all, there are games between August 12th to August 25th. Oh boy, that is something to talk about because, I mean, I get that it's between the Dodgers and Oakland, right? But oh my goodness, this is a lot of double-digit games you've given up. I mean, especially the beginning of the year where you face Seattle, and I remember seeing one of those games. I don't know which game it was. It was the game that Kyle Lewis did really well in. But you know, if you've given up double digits against the Mariners, we got some serious problems to talk about. Okay, first first priority, I would say with this Angels team to talk about is the relieving. And oh boy, there's a lot of relieving problems to talk about this team. So your closer is Ty Buttery, who has a his whip is average, but his FIP is a 4.0, which is kind of suspect. And your closer should not be doing that. I mean, he can't strike. I mean, he can strike out guys, but when there's times where he's on the mound, not all the time he strikes out everybody, you know, and that's very concern if your closer can't even do that. Um, I don't know. It's very frustrating to look at this team alone, like with the roster and everything. So Jacob Barnes, yeah, I say you just get rid of him or you just send him down to AAA next year. I don't know what his deal is, but he's definitely not good. He's definitely not a good reliever for the long run. Who else here? You got Hassan Robles, Matt Adrisi. I mean, you got Holby Milner, Jose Coeda, who was pretty young. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's only 24, but still, that 7.36 ERA is not doing it for me. Cal Keller, he's not doing it. And Jose Suarez and Otani. I mean, Suarez and Otani have both 38 ERA. Let me repeat that one more time just in case you didn't hear that. 38 ERA. That is extremely bad. And that is just very worrisome. Right? And then Dylan Peters as well with a 16.2 ERA. Their reliefs they're just bad. There's just no way to describe it other than it's just bad. And then we look at their pitching, their starting rotation, right? I like Bundy. I like Henny, right? They're pretty decent pitchers. I like them. You know who I don't like is Canning and Sandoval, and especially Torrin, because those guys are they're just not cutting it, man. I mean, Canning, does he strike out a lot of guys? Not really, no. I mean, he'll strike out a guy per inning, sure, but is he going to do it every single inning? No, probably not. Same goes to Tarian. Same goes to Sandoval. Those guys, strikeouts per inning is definitely below a 1. And I would not rely on those guys to get out of the inning as soon as they can. Especially Tarian, man. I mean, his FIP is a 7.8. That's very concerning. If you can't locate that well, and you're giving up hits, that's a problem. I think with this team, and you can tell I'm pretty frustrated because, I want this Angels team to do well. I think everybody they want this team to do well. You got a generational player of Mike Trout. You essentially wasted Pujols' prime. I mean, I don't want to say wasted, but his prime was back in St. Louis, obviously. But the fact of the matter is that you had two guys that were pretty decent, and you failed to build and draft around those guys. Acquiring free agents, drafting the right guys. It just hasn't been cutting it, man. And then we just look at the hitting now. I mean, the one guy that's been the most disappointing guy is definitely Justin Upton. He's definitely the guy that I really want to talk about. Ohtani, they're trying to make him into, Babe Ruth, which is fine. That was his whole marketing thing coming into the league from Japan was, oh, he can pitch and he can hit. So a guy like Justin Upton, who is batting 203, and if I remember correctly, he's been striking out a lot. I think he leads the team in strikeouts besides Trout. I mean, that right there kind of concerns me. I mean, they got him from a trade from Detroit, and I don't know, man. Upton has not been cutting it, and they got to pay him for 5 more years. And if he's going to keep playing like this badly, it's just going to be a long run for this Angels team to pay this guy this much money. And then I would say he's been kind of underwhelming, but I guess we can put Anthony Rendon in here. Yeah, he's batting 282, but he can definitely draw walks. He can definitely hit home runs. So I'm not really worried about him. New team, new city, and he's just fresh off a chip. So I'll give Rendon some slack. Trout is Trout. You know what I mean? What you get from Trout is a lot of home runs. He definitely walks a lot. By a whole 100. And he's just Trout. He's literally the modern day equivalent of Ty Cobb. WAR says it all. And depending on your opinion about WAR, I think it's one of the more valuable stats out there, but that's for another video. They have the guys. They really do. I really like Simmons. He's probably my personal favorite player. I mean, the guy's batting 308 with 363. He does draw some walks. He's definitely your prototypical leadoff man, I would say. Pretty good defender as well, and he just gets the job done. But just the thing about this Angels team is that they score 8 runs, their bullpen gives up 10 runs. It's just been one of those years for the Angels. They have the offense to do it. Maybe they're missing a couple of pieces. Maybe they can do someone better than Luis Renfroe. But besides that, I mean, Joe Adell, he's young. He's a very young prospect. He's only 21, and I'm not worried about him. I am worried about Ohtani. Now, the thing with Ohtani, like I said before, his whole thing was, I can pitch and I can hit. I am the modern equivalent of Babe Ruth, was basically his thing going into MLB from Japan. And that's fine, but, if you're going to average 189, he does draw a lot of walks. He does draw walk, man. And I'll give him credit, and he does hit homers. But man, he strikes out too. And I don't know, man. I mean it's so frustrating to talk about him. it's just frustrating to talk about this Angels team. I have hope for Ohtani, but I never really bought into the hype of Ohtani. I still really don't. I say, once he hits his ceiling, I think he's a 260 batter who can hit home runs, who could draw walks. But am I going to put him as my cleanup man, my third guy on the rotation? No, probably not. Those spots belong to Rendon and Trout. And then for 1 and 2, it would have to be Simmons. And I mean, Upton is not really that guy for them, but if I have to choose between Upton or Otani, I might have to go with Upton, man. I hate to say that because as bad as Upton has been, he still has been getting some home runs for them, and he's been drawing a lot of walks, just like Otani, but he's been hitting a little better, not by a lot, but still. Otani is like in this team right now, the way everybody's been playing, he's more like a 7 or 8 spot, 6 spot sort of guy. They're just missing some pieces, man. Their pitch has just been terrible. It's one of the worst in the league. I mean, the fact that a guy like Andrew Heaney and Dylan Bundy are your top 2 guys, that's just not going to do it. I like Bundy. He's been my sleeper pick for this year. I thought he had a solid year. Average year at best, but he's still someone to look for too. I mean, last year he made a massive jump, and I hope he does better throughout time, and I think he will. I remember him back in Baltimore, and I thought, okay, he's decent, but you just gotta hope, man. If you're an Angels fan right now, you're just kicking yourself in the shin and just going like, what the hell are we doing wrong? How are we gonna get this team better? And the truth of the matter is, you need an ace. If you get someone like a Bauer, if you get someone like a Severino, which is, I know that's like years down the road, but like, Severino, it's not going to be a free agent until 2022. But you get someone like him, that would definitely help out your team a lot. You got Trout for the long term. And are they going to compete for a championship now? No, probably not. Maybe not next year. Probably not 2 years from now. But maybe 3 years down the line, we can talk about how the Angels are a really good team and they have a team that can compete for a chip and possibly a dark horse contender. It's as a baseball fan, I'm not even an Angels fan, right? And it frustrates me to see a team like this who have Rodon, Trout. I'll even put the discussion of Tani, Upton. And, Pujols is 40, but he's still worth mentioning. And the offense is really good. It's just their pitching has been really, really been disappointing. Bottom 5 in the league, to be exact. And I think I'm done with the Angels. I think I'm done talking about the Angels. Their season's done. And, hopefully they pursue Bauer. And if they do, good on them.